The Primus himself used his time to hone his tactical and strategic skills beyond mortal constraints. It is said that he once sought out an unknown ally who could show him the infinite time ways and allow him to observe the same battle over and over again to see how slight differences in strategy and troop deployment could change the outcome of a conflict. After aeons of such study, the Primus can instantly assess any situation and devise the likeliest path to victory. Today, we will talk about Zovaal and the Jailer, because they are not the same person. Zovaal is not the Jailer. And the real Jailer is the Primus. And Shadowlands completely dropped the ball on a story delivery that is showing you something very important. The Primus intentionally got himself captured, used domination runes to control Zovaal, so that he could use Zovaal as a literal puppet to figure out what would happen in the event that they tried to take power from Azeroth. If you look at the original concept art of the Jailer, it doesn't look like Zovaal, does it? I mean, we looked at it bunches of times. It doesn't look like Zovaal. It looks like the Primus. Almost identical, actually, and I'll show you. What I'm saying to you is that just like Anduin Wrynn was being dominated against his will, so was the Jailer. And it was the Primus that was doing it to him. But the Primus is so fucking smart that he did this without exposing to all the other Eternal ones that it was him. If you look at the Titan Pantheon art, Sargeras, very similar to our friend the Primus here, who is the progenitor of domination magic, has domination runes, on him, on his armor. And he's wearing these ribbons, these like beautiful bindings that actually are very similar to what the Primus has. And his eyes are blue, actually very similar to Zovaal. Now I know, like I said, you guys are probably going to think that this is crazy, and I don't think that this excuses the story delivery on things like Arthas, okay? I really don't. I do not think the Primus works for Sargeras. No. I think the Primus works. I think the Primus is an ordered result of Titan influence. I think the Titans ordered the Shadowlands. They seem incredibly ordered for what they are. Not that death isn't orderly, but I think, at least to some degree, Amin Thul. Okay, hold on. We have to like be careful with like how deep we get into that, because this is like the part about Zovaal being. I'm telling you guys, I'm like almost entirely convinced that the Primus intentionally, because he's a master tactician, I think he intentionally got himself captured. I think that he used. I think that within the Maw itself, he was basically disguised as being a prisoner, when in truth, he was the one controlling. I know some of you are not going to like this. He was the one controlling Zovaal. And the imagery that they provide with Zovaal, like literally falling down as like a puppet kind of thing, and like the power fading from his eyes, like the Primus is the progenitor of domination magic. How the Primus got captured is never explained. And Shinzai puts it best when they said, the greatest trick of the devil was making you believe he doesn't exist. Did Zovaal have domination runes on him too? Yeah, they were etched onto his skin. What I actually believe is that the Primus was the one controlling Zovaal and actually made him do that. Just like it was supposed that Zovaal was the one controlling, the Lich King and making him do that. Zovaal was also a puppet. But what I think is fucking brilliant about it is essentially the Primus was able to run what is effectively a simulation without exposing himself or exposing anything that he will want to do. It's actually Gigabrain as fuck. And I know that the evidence is not right here in front of you, so we'll get to that point. I know I'm like really all over the place. Well, then why would Primus want souls to enter the Maw? Because what the Primus was trying to do is what Zovaal was doing. The Primus, what I'm saying is that the Primus was trying to use the power of Azeroth. That it wasn't Zovaal. Wasn't it also speculated that Zovaal wasn't meant to be the main antagonist of Shadowlands? Let me show you something. On the page for Zovaal exists, I believe, his concept art. Now, remember how much heat I took for this? This says the Jailer, right? This clearly says the Jailer. But wait 1 second. Wait a second here. Even in the way that he's standing, where his hands are. And if you look closely at the Primus in the game, he has chains underneath his cloak. They took these weird big these elemental things, death elemental, wow, and they repurposed it for this death elemental thing. But what I'm saying is that the leaked art of the Jailer is not leaked art of Zovaal. It's leaked art of the Primus. And when I first saw this, I thought, oh, so they were gonna do this, but they didn't. They were gonna pull this off, but they changed their mind. But then, the more that I thought about it, the more I realized that doesn't have to be the case. Guys, we let the Primus forge a new crown of domination. In the Shadowlands. The Primus has control of the Shadowlands. The Crown of Will. The Crown of Wills. It's a disguise for what it really is. It's a crown of light. It's a mind control device. That's all this is. It's a new brainwashing tool. This is why I say the Primus is in cahoots with the Titans. Because this is what they wanted. This is what the ultimate form of their order in the Shadowlands is. Remember, order exists in different forms. Death is one form. Death is one form. So check this out. The Jailer dismantled because remember, Zovaal was the Arbiter. So the Jailer makes Zovaal look like he goes crazy, tries to take the fucking power of the Eternal Ones to unlock the fucking truth of the first ones, whatever those are, which I think can be altered to actually reflect Azeroth and Argus if they want to. But I'm gonna leave that alone for now. Made Zovaal look like the bad guy, got rid of the Arbiter, replaced the Arbiter, and then got to fucking build the crown that's going to be used for every soul that enters the Shadowlands going forward. Here's the deal. The Dreadlords, they don't work for Zovaal. They work for Denathrius. And Denathrius is still out there, technically, and so are the Dreadlords. In fact, Lothraxion, the Light Dreadlord, had dialogue removed from the game after the fall of Sargeras. He actually had a quote in the bridge of the Vindicar where he says, Just because the Legion has, Sargeras has been defeated does not mean that all the demons in the universe will give up so easily. And then he like clenches his fist and he says, not yet at least. And then we have these Dreadlord journals talking about how the Dreadlords intentionally infiltrated the light. You're a Gigabrain to finally see it? Well, let me say this, Shinzai sees a lot, just as much of this as I do. So I would like to not take fucking credit for something that this was brought to my attention. The jailer Zovaal is not the bad guy. It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. This guy is the victim of a power manipulating him. And he didn't even know it. He didn't know it. Only was he given his memory and own free will back in the final fucking moments. He didn't even know. And no one else knew that the Primus was controlling him from within the maw. This guy was pulling the strings, disguised as a prisoner. That's crazy. Yeah, he's the one pulling the chains, pulling shit in. He literally, he's the puppet pulling, it's funny because he's like, they make it look like, it's so fucked, dude. Oh yeah, he got dominated by his own magic. No, bro, he's using it to dominate Zovaal. He's the one doing it. He works, yeah, I believe he does work for the Titan Pantheon. I really do. I do think he does. I think he's like a fucking master tactician that basically ran a fucking sim in the Shadowlands to figure out the result of a conflict. And like I said, now he has he has control. And look at this. I'm sorry, like I'm not trying to be like too on the nose, but like I'm not saying that they're the same person, so please don't take it that way, but like, you know, I could see these two fucking goons working together. The Primus embodies the 5 traits of the ideal Maldraxi soldier, virtues he instilled into the 5 houses: ambition, might, insight, guile, and relentlessness. In addition to his military might, he's known as a legendary weaponsmith and the best armor crafter in the Shadowlands. He is the creator of the Maldraxi rune magic, which serves to manipulate necromantic energy, and its more powerful counterpart, domination, which we'll get into, which he made for the purpose of imprisoning his traitorous brother, Zovaal the Jailer. I would like to throw out there that if this guy's in cahoots with the Titans and he created domination magic would be one of the best things that the Titans could use to assert order, don't you think? Because domination is control, and we now know, thanks to Dragonflight, that control is order for the Titans. That's how they see it. Order to the Titans is control. So domination is very important. When you look at the runes upon Sargeras, the old art, when I say that he has domination runes on him and that freaks me out, I mean, there's a reason for that. Because I think the Titans have the power of domination. They have it. And I think that might actually be the root of what their order magic really is. But they're also using the light, which is what freaks me the fuck out. And then I found this. Oh, shit. And then I found this. Remember what I was telling you guys earlier about the Primus? And about how he was the true jailer and was using Zovaal to figure out whether or not it was viable for him to steal the power of Azeroth? Well, guess what? The Titans sent a Constellar. The Titans sent a fucking Constellar into the Shadowlands to check up on what was happening. They wanted to know the status of what was going on in the Shadowlands. Why? Because the Primus was the one performing the simulation that the Titans were going to learn from. Check this out. I think the Titans wanted the Primus to do this so that they could figure out better if what they were going to do with the dream would work. Their idea is that they would build a perfect world in the dream and then put it into reality. That's how this works. And when they fail, it creates layers that build on top of each other, which probably is the reason where the Black Empire came from, if I'm fucking honest with you. But there's a possibility that that's not where it came from. But they're basically doing simulations over and over to try to figure out how they can become successful. The Titans do this shit all the fucking time. And when you look at this guy, Rajalana is a dominated Constellar and the final boss of the Sepulchre of the First Ones, which I didn't even fucking know. I didn't even know. He succumbs to the jailer's domination. But again, if the jailer's domination is an act of an underlying puppet master, which is the Primus, then that means that he was dominated at the hand of the Primus in order to send information from what was happening inside of the sepulcher of the first ones to the Titans. They were supposed to know. The Primus is a link between the Titans and sorry, how do I say this? Pardon me. The Constellar is a link between the Primus and the Titans. It's how they were communicating with one another. If you guys think that the Titans don't know what happened in the Shadowlands because they're on the seat of the Pantheon, I'm telling you right now, I think that they do know. I didn't know about this prototype Pantheon, so this is interesting. So this is from Zareth Mortis. The first iteration of the Immortal Council was not put into use because their ideals were too extreme. With the enemy at the gate, Lehuvim has little choice but to reactivate these dangerous prototypes. They sure look like light to me. They sure look like light to me. So it's funny that their ideals were too extreme because this here, man, that sure kind of looks like what Pelagos looks like now, don't you think? These things don't look too far off of Pelagos. I'm being honest with you. So the idea that, you know, light being a little bit more extreme form of order, you know, I'm just going to throw out there that that's alarming. That's kind of alarming. It's just another form of order, another form of control. And this is what the Titans want. The Primus architected this to occur. The Primus architected that Pelagos would receive of the Crown of Wills. It's completely intentional. That's what I believe anyway. If the jailer can potentially, and we're gonna get to this, if the jailer was potentially being actually controlled by the fucking Primus, then Sargeras is the same situation. Sargeras will be dominated and controlled by fucking Aman'Thul, who the Primus probably learned his tactics from, because it says that the Primus met with a being in the time ways, and that's how he learned to predict and foresee battles. Look at this. I mean, just look at the imagery. It looks like he's being controlled, doesn't it? He doesn't even look different from, like, if we put this, Titan Pantheon, wow. If we put a picture, I'm getting so excited, dude. This is great. If we put a picture of this next to fucking Anduin being dominated, I don't know if I want to type that in. So in this form, I'm sorry, but I kind of failed to see the difference. It's the same picture. That's art, not accurate? Are you fucking shitting me? Even if I can find one that's not fan art, it doesn't really matter. Anduin Rin Dark. Why is there a backslash? Here, we'll just use the actual model. It almost looks even worse. Yeah. I mean, I failed to see a big difference here. And look, Zovaal the Jailer. Let's look at this motherfucker. I'm not so sure that this guy wasn't being dominated as well. Once again, by the fucking Primus. And we're gonna get into that. And I think that there is and it's not my original idea. I would definitely say that I heard all this from Shinzai in my Discord. But there is a I think a very solid theory that the jailer was actually being controlled by the Primus. And that the Primus was doing a test run of taking Azeroth's power and is working in tandem with Aman'Thul to wrest control of creation. The fucking Primus is the bad guy. The Primus is the actual bad guy of the Shadowlands, which is fucking nuts because I don't know. I never saw that. I did not understand that. But when I had this explained to me and kind of shown to me, I was like, dude, this is fucking crazy. Zovaal has runes literally tattooed on his fucking skin. This guy is definitely, and like what, we're told this, the Primus is a master tactician weaponsmith who specializes in runes. So you're telling me that he actually let the jailer weaponize his own bonds and get the Primus. No one knew how the Primus even got captured. He disappeared. It's because the Primus fucking put himself on the Maw on purpose so that he could control Zovaal from within the Maw, and nobody would know that it was him, all the while passing like he was the fucking victim. And then, like I said at the end, he instates a new arbiter who has a new crown of wills that can dominate with light, I bet. This is fucking terrifying. Their plans have fully come to fruition. We're like literally on the precipice of the Titans taking over the fucking universe. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, we're there. It's actually happening. And what they're doing in the story for the next 3 expansions is exactly this. Trust me. It's going to express exactly the things we've been talking about. What the Black Empire truly was and what fucking happened to them. Because what the Titans are telling us is absolutely a lie. The truth between the light and the void, and how the light is just spreading the void. And their ideals, though they allegedly clash, kind of come together to show you what they might truly be in essence. Okay, one thing to consider. And the possibility that Azeroth is in fact something completely different from the Titans, if not the most powerful or progenitor to the Titans themselves, and will finally, hopefully, be waking up. Which they are teasing is going to lead into what they're describing as the next like 20 or 30 years of Warcraft storytelling. If they wake Azeroth up and like break down the barriers of reality and show us what is really around us and reveal to us what the Titans really did, if we have a way to stop the Titans, then maybe that's like the birth of a new story for us to go out and explore the other maybe worlds or realms that they have completely taken over. Because I'm telling you right now, it's not just the ones that we've seen. And I'm sure I can't play the Emerald Dream yet, but I'm sure that when I get in there, that I'm just gonna find more evidence to support everything that we've been going over today. Because at this point, the way that they've connected it is actually giga fucking brain, and I hate to admit it because Shadowlands sucked ballsack in its delivery, but the Primus controlling Zovaal under the guise of being a prisoner is fucking giga brain. It is fucking giga brain. Like, it's crazy if you deliver it properly.
This must not be.
You have betrayed your duty as a...
So I want to throw this out here. What's happening right now is Zovaal is seeing the memories of what happened. I think he's just now understanding, like coming to the realization to a degree that like he was being influenced by something.
This must not
Being freed from domination.
You have betrayed your duty as arbiter and shall be bound forevermore.
Your madness has threatened the cycle of life and death entire.
You could have sought another way, brother. Imagine what we could have accomplished together.
Why, Zovaal? What drove you to this?
You can hear his chains like clattering and shit. Dude, and the runes are gone. Dude, the Primus is definitely the fucking bad guy. Holy fucking shit.
Together.
Why, Zovaal? What drove you to this end?
The Primus is just the eternal Aman'Thul.
Preserve that which is doomed. A cosmos divided will not survive. What is to come?
Domination runes etched all over his body. By the way, this rune on his bicep right here, Sargeras has this on his armor. Sargeras has this domination rune on his armor in that Titan art. See that rune right there? On his glove? It's the same one. It's definitely domination runes. It's absolutely domination runes in my opinion. They fucking dominated Sargeras and made him do things that he didn't even want to fucking do. And framed his ass for it. In the the Primus did the same thing to Zovaal. The same fucking thing. So Zovaal knows some truth that we are otherwise unaware of, correct? The fact that Zovaal does use First One stuff to try to harness the power of Azeroth to rewrite reality is pretty fascinating, though. I wonder if that actually, and the fact that we can interact with that teleporter thing, I wonder if, if that illustrates that perhaps there is a connection between Azeroth and her champions and the First Ones. So maybe there is a way to canonize the First Ones and not have it be actual, just absolute dog shit. Then I get linked the Machine of Origination. The Machine of Origination is a massive device created by the mysterious First Ones and interred within their sepulcher in the realm of Zereth Mortis in the Shadowlands. The jailer Zovaal reactivated it, using the world soul of Azeroth as a power source, and attempted to make reality into one that served him, so it could stand against what he saw as a coming threat. However, the Maw-walkers from Azeroth were able to defeat the jailer on the verge of his great victory, shutting down the Machine of Origination once again. The Machine of Origination? I said it's called the Machine of Origination? Titans aren't the only ones who can re-originate the universe. How did he use the power of Azeroth from there? So, connecting Torghast through the Breach of Realms to the top of Icecrown Citadel, and channeling power up the core of it from the Forge of Souls beneath it, they drew upon the power of Azeroth to try to rewrite reality. The Forge of Souls is fucking fascinating, and the more that you go up into Icecrown and think about the Lich King and look at it, the more that it becomes apparent that they obviously had some additional information that is a little bit inexplicable as far as things like the Forge of Souls and how it interacts with Azeroth. How the fuck did they build that machinery? Where did they learn that from? So to tie it to the Primus working with the Titans, manipulating Zovaal, I kind of feel like that connects. He is the creator of Maldraxxi rune magic, which serves to manipulate necromantic energy, and its more powerful counterpart, domination, which he made for the purpose of imprisoning his traitorous brother, Zovaal the Jailer. So if he created it, the Titans must have learned it from him, if it's what they're using. Unless it's different in essence, but conceptually the same in terms of order. I said it alters the victim's thoughts so powerfully, and this is domination, that it interferes with their sense of self. This is exactly what happens to things ordered by the Titans. Calicghost is expressing this in Dragonflight. Thank you, Elax. Shinzai says the fact that the Primus was taught the art of war by someone with access to the Time Ways, who I straight up think is Aman'Thul. Skiz says Aman'Thul. I do kind of like that. It's a heavy theme of symmetry between the tiers. Even if this is all nonsense, the Keepers often echo their Pantheon Masters, and etc. One more thing. When we talked about gods, I looked up the definition of gods. It's either the omnipotent ones, the creators of everything, or it is the ones that govern specifics of reality. Seems to me the Titans are just a governing body of the Order domain and not the one above all, but they have asserted themselves as such. Shinzai starts to dig a little deeper. Here we go. Literally, the Primus is the guy from the original Jailer artwork. That was the route that made sense. He should have been the one pulling the strings. Instead, they put some fucking Wrath of the Lich King blue plate on Zovaal and gave us him as the end boss. I'm still wondering who betrayed Argus. And we come back to that, I think. Has a video about that. Pulls up the Art of the Jailer. Wait a second, though. We compared this earlier. He looks like the Primus. Wait a sec. Wait a second. Why? Because the Primus is the fucking Jailer. Because he is the Jailer. It just is the Primus. The Primus himself used his time to hone his tactical and strategic skills beyond mortal constraints. It is said that he once sought out an unknown ally who could show him the infinite time ways and allow him to observe the same battle over and over to see how slight differences in strategy and troop deployment could change the outcome of a conflict. After aeons of such study, the Primus can instantly assess any situation and devise the likeliest path to victory. Exactly, it's him. He even has the chains. They're hidden under his cape. If you look at his model from the side, he has tons of them hidden away. He's the fucking Jailer. Zovaal was just his puppet. someone who could show him the infinite time ways could also just be someone from the Infinite Dragon Fighter Bronze. I think that's very unlikely. I think it's highly leaning into Aman'Thul. Check this out, chat. Yeah. Yep. Lean into this. It's the silhouette. Shinzai links another picture. You mean that's how they were going to do it originally? He looks uncannily similar. Even his hands and shit, his body language, the tall things on his shoulder. Shinzai says the shoulder pieces were just repurposed for the death elementals. I said, wow, the Primus. If the Primus was the real jailer, though, how come Zovaal had him chained up as the rune carver? Or was that him turning his power against him, trying to escape? Shinzai answers with a brilliant answer. The greatest trick the devil ever played was making us believe he doesn't exist. In the cutscene, you only ever see the Primus's shadow looking down upon Zovaal. The bent-over appearance of the Primus looks like as the rune carver is an act. I said the question would be, why? He looks way too similar. Makes sense because when the jailer dies, he literally becomes a puppet. Yeah, it's Mimi, but it's like so on the nose. You wouldn't have stopped to realize that it was the jailer that was being controlled. It's fucking crazy. Shinzai says the back of the Shadowlands Collector's Edition box is the Primus insignia breaking out of the maw into reality. This is one of the biggest clues. I have this Collector's Edition and I didn't notice this. That the symbol of not the jailer, but of the Primus is like coming out of the fucking maw out of the Shadowlands. Because that's exactly what he's doing. I said, I guess I still don't understand. Why did he do it? Shinzai said it's the untold story. He was the one trying to take Azeroth's power, not Zovaal. He used Zovaal to test what would happen if he tried. I was like, that is fucking Giga Brain. So he comes out to be the good guy. Holy fuck. And he created a new crown of domination that we accepted. And it's light-based. I said, oh my fucking god. The dead Zovaal looks like a puppet with his strings cut. Primus, the tactician, not dead Zovaal. He looks like MC'd Anduin with his blue eyes. What the fuck? Shin, what the fuck? We freed him by killing him. We set Zovaal free from the guy who was actually doing the jailing. The Primus played everyone. I said, you have me sold on this. I can't believe it. When you go back through Shadowlands from this perspective, everything falls into place. The Primus in Shadowlands shows us about 4 different forms. I don't think so. It was fucking weird for us to bring the Primus's runes back to him within his prison where Zovaal was. Because from within his prison, he was puppeteering Zovaal. The secret of the Shadowlands is that it wasn't the jailer. It was the fucking Primus, and his plan went just like it should have. Now, the Arbiter, who used to be Zovaal, who was framed by the Primus, has been replaced by an entity that the Primus can control. Yo, that is fucked. And assuming that he learned, like it said, learning these tactics from someone in the Time Ways, who do you think he learned how to do this from? He's running a simulation. It's very similar to another group of individuals that we know. He's running a test, just like the Emerald Dream. They're just simulations to figure out what the right path is. They're all just scrying fate, but they're doing it different ways. He ran a simulation, but now he's safe to do whatever he wants. We left the Shadowlands to him. Yes, as he's been trained to do. I said, oh my god. It illustrates the premise of taking Azeroth's power. I get it. Holy shit. The Primus is an Aman'Thul experiment. He used him to test it himself. Aman'Thul, through the Time Ways, contacted the Primus, and then the Primus, essentially on behalf of the Titans, runs a simulation to see what it would be like if they tried to take Azeroth's power. This can confirm that that is indeed what the Titans were trying to do, if it is true. slowly figuring out how they're going to do it themselves. And how do we know that the Titans are probably aware of everything that happened? A Constellar, Rygelon, arrives to survey the situation. The Titans know. The Shadowlands was ordered, the Primus set up a puppet to act on his behalf, and the experiment was a success. And like I said, I believe this is why Sargeras did cleave a planet. He cleaved the original Shadowlands, which I'm not necessarily opposed to the idea of, frankly, considering that we know that they were, to some degree, remade, and that Argus went back to them when he died. Why? Because that's where he was before. Duh. Wasn't he supposed to serve as the new Arbiter? Interesting. And like I've said, so it says, Oribos is the world pillar of the Shadowlands that tethers the many planes to it, installed by the Titans, as they do, and they turn it into a prison dimension. The only exception being ANR establishing Life's Out via Ardenweald is the one zone that does not fit the Titans' designs and plans as usual. A cosmos divided, so all of the other forces probably are going to have to like step up and like fight together to defeat Order. Otherwise, Order is going to fucking... What is to come? The Titans. The Titans are coming. And they're coming back with a fucking vengeance. It's not going to be good for us at all. Listen to this. Think about this. The Titans use domination. They use Order magic in the same exact way. Now that we know about domination, they have no reason to hide it. They know that we know. The untold story of Shadowlands. That it truly, in fact, was the Primus. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. What a damn shame they couldn't fucking get people to see that.